Welcome back to the vlog, guys. Welcome here to KVing. Brad, this is the first time I get to fly with Brad ever, so this is exciting, and hopefully we'll start his training full-fledged here in just no time at all. But our flight down to Hoskins, and we're going to be flying over an island with one of our friends that lives out there, so just to say hi on the way out of there. So let's get going.
All right, we've got the checklist started. We'll go ahead and make sure everything's back. Okay, rotation outside, rotation inside. We've got 4 white, 2 yellow. We've got 14% in G. Low pressure's coming up. We've got fuel flow coming. ITT's coming up. Got a constant increase. They peaked about 680, coming back down. NG's above 52, releasing the starter. And ITT's continuing to come down. We'll go ignition off, aux pump on standby. And then we'll go generator on, alternator on, prop forward.
I was just seeing if I could get a hold of him. He didn't see my text, so I'm just going to let him know that we're taking off now. All stations, KVing 1271, Kodiak November Indigo Kilo will be taxiing for departure for Hoskins. We'll be departing runway 12, KVing. Where's V8861, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
November Tango Kilo, morning.
Morning, good. November Tango Kilo, taxi, KVing, Hoskins 2 POB.
November Tango Kilo, no report traffic, again POB.
2 POB, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo.
You want to take off the same direction we landed?
We can just take off that way. Like, okay. We've got like a 10-knot tailwind, but we're empty and it's really long, so just when I do a tailwind takeoff like that, I'll just, once the nose is up and once you're airborne, just push it over for a second, get your speed up to like 75 in case you go through that wind shear level with the trees. But we can go down there if you want to, it really doesn't matter.
Oh, this is fine. Alright, we want 50 knots. We'll say by, I don't know, that we're going out there. Yep. Does that sound about right?
By like the next little tiny road, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good.
That's what I'm looking. Okay, 50 knots by that point. If we don't have it, we'll abort. Full reverse max braking and flaps up. If we're not stopped by the end, cut off, pull off, turn off, and master off. If we lose power after takeoff, we'll pitch for 85, consider EPL, and otherwise idle feather, cut off, pull off, turn off. Emergencies V2 ALT, Mayday, consider flaps and the master off before touchdown.
All stations, KVing 1271, November Kilo, rolling runway 12 for Hoskins. We'll be on climb 16,000.
All right, 37 degrees. We'll go 1520, rotating 59.
We'll go 50 under that. So 1470.
1470 for 1520, rotating 59. Ignition, headlamp prop, condition, flaps 20, fuel, harnesses. Okay, there's 1470. Airspeed's alive. We're continuing. And 59, rotating.
And if you want, let's do a right-hand turn now so we can head over, and don't go any higher than really like 500 feet, or this is about good, just because we're going to be flying over that island in just like a 5 minute or less than 5 minutes. There's no point going any higher. And we'll go off to the right side of the island. You see those 2 islands over there, the bigger ones? And the darker one with all the trees? That's the one we're going to go on, and we're going to go on to the right side of that.
Okay. Let's let our airspeed come up, or do you want to slow down?
Yeah, this is good. 130 knots is good. Because we're at sea level, it doesn't take much torque, like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. For fuel flow right here at 320, and that's still going to give us really close to that 130, the indicated. Where's V8861, November Tango Kilo departure?
November Tango Kilo, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo departed, KVing time 25, tracking 181 on climb 16,000. Estimating Hoskins on, let's see, time 33 next hour, we'll report again on the hour.
November Tango Kilo, copy on climb 16,000. No reported traffic.
Kind of right where the end comes out and as a point, that's where they're going to be. So come out this way a little bit, and then we can drop our wing as we go by. All right. Yeah, some of these bigger tin roof ones, that's what. Be a hot life. I think I saw him at the kind of towards the end walking and waving.
Oh, cool. So we're going to bring our ITT up to 720. Or do you want to do 7?
Yeah, 720 is good. And it's beautiful here. The water's like notable kind.
Okay, so I'm right there up at the max torque.
Because you're at sea level, it's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why when I say when you're going around at sea level, that's something you really need to be careful of. Because like the few times that I've had to do go-arounds with like kids or something, and you're just like, you're not really paying attention as much in here as you are outside, I've almost over-torqued it just because I'm like, oh, let's power up, and then you're like, and you're not thinking, oh, I'm at sea level. Yeah. You could ease the highlands, you're probably not going to.
Okay, so clouds.
You're welcome to do whatever you like. You're welcome to wiggle your way through them if you like. If you'd like to go through them, that's fine with me too.
I'd like to wiggle through. I need that experience, I think.
All right, well, just pick out kind of where you are. You're going to go into this one right here unless you turn.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not going to work.
Why don't you just continue straight ahead? This is what I like to do, is I'll just throw my heading bug on, whatever heading I'm going, or whatever heading that I know is going to be clear or something. Okay. And then just, once you're here, then don't worry about anything else. Just continue to focus on what you need to focus on, and remember to breathe. I used to hold my breath a lot when I would like really focus on something, you know, and then you're like, oh, I gotta breathe. All right, well, that looks nice.
Go through this cloud and then we can start staying visual. There we go.
So I'm just gonna get my oxygen and stuff out. We're going up to 16,000. This is a non-pressurized airplane, so if you're wondering why we have to wear oxygen, it's because it's not pressurized. And if you're wondering what these red things are, they're just life vests, just because we're going to be going outside of 50 nautical miles or a gliding distance of the coast. So we have to, we have a raft back here, and then our life vests right here we'll have to wear. I'm sure it's nice that you actually get to touch the controls now, huh?
Oh man, it's so nice.
A bit boring sitting over here, huh?
It is. I feel like you get as much out of it, but you don't.
No, you definitely don't. For a new viewer who doesn't really know much about the Kodiak, how do you think that this, as far as like feels and flies, as compared to like a 172 or 206, is it fairly similar in your opinion?
Just the weight of the controls is a lot heavier. All of my experience is in primarily single engine piston, so little Cessnas, Pipers, 2 4-seat aircraft. Yep. And the controls felt a lot lighter. I don't know, this one flies a lot easier too in enough ways.
Yeah. Being a little bit heavier, I think it's a little more stable in a lot of like bumpier areas. You're not as like fighting, like I did all of my instrument stuff in a 152.
Yeah.
So like the 2-knot wind will like throw you all over the place and you really have to focus, but not quite as much in here.
The biggest difference between this aircraft and the other ones, aside from the power increase, obviously the PT6 gives it a lot more power, but the G1000 is quite spectacular. Just the situational
so
awareness. Oh man, tell you what, IFR doesn't intimidate me near much with all this information.
Yeah, it definitely, especially the IFR conditions that we have here, like we were talking earlier, just so we have a lot of self-derived stuff, which means that we don't have like routes for everywhere we go. We might fly from one bush location to another. We don't have a route on that. We have to actually look at the charts ourselves between multiple charts to verify that yes, this mountain is the highest it can be on this chart, but this chart says it's you know, 2,000 feet lower. Like, what was the one this morning? One said 6,000, one said, was it
4,000 or 5,000. It was a lot less.
Yeah, it was, yeah, pretty significantly different. So having the situational awareness that the G1000 gives us is, yeah, it's a very nice thing.
Hey, 1,200 feet to go.
Yeah, so those ones I didn't think you're going to be able to. We have another 1,000 to go, so we're probably going to have to go off to the left.
Okay.
Looks like it's kind of rising off to the right, unless you want to go through it. To this altitude, they don't look like they're that long. I'm saying, what were these? Probably 11,000 feet when we came down here just like an hour ago, and now they're already. Wait, we're at 16,000 almost, and they're going to be probably well higher than us.
There were some of them that were still taller than us, weren't there?
Yeah, and well, this is pretty much on track. Some of these might have blown over here because some of these ones that are over there. At 16,000, we're 4 degrees Celsius. There probably will be a chance that you'll probably pick up some icing because once you go in the clouds, it's probably going to drop probably 3 degrees Celsius, roughly, maybe 2, but probably it's going to get you a lot closer to that 0 degree mark. So just always keep in mind, like, you probably will get icing. I don't know how, I don't think they're going to go for very long, but if it was me, I'd probably just go off to the side of it, just so I don't have to deal with potentially having, I don't know, they don't look like they go that far because they don't go up that high, so I don't think that they're going to. When we came up, they really weren't that many, so.
Get my power back to 700 ITT.
Right, we are, how many minutes out? About 20 minutes out of Hoskins, stop and descent, 16,000 feet. We wanted 1,080, looks like 1,077 when we land, so that's going to be pretty close for what we need. We're also going to have a tailwind on the way back, so that's going to get us that extra like 5 that we're looking for, probably even more. Like we were saying earlier, we think we're going to be landing back in Guruk with like our IFR reserve plus another 50, so actually it's going up now that we're in a descent. We have to do three legs of the circuit because it's an uncontrolled place, especially because it's uncontrolled here with how much traffic they have coming in and out. It's always good just to be flying a full 3 circuits in case for some reason we're not hearing them or whatever else. That's happened here before, so you just enter right into a right downwind for runway 30.
All stations, Hoskins 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Kilo, 27 miles to run. Hoskins estimate, Hoskins 3-1.
All stations, Hoskins 127 Alpha Tango Echo, we landed Hoskins at runway 12, backtracking 12 for the airport.
Tango Kilo.
And it's even hard to see the runway out there, isn't it? I can barely see it.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
I think I see it.
Yeah, the 2 mountains behind it and it's just in front of it.
Yeah. I think what I would like to do is just overfly midfield and then join a left downwind so I can see everything a little bit better.
Okay.
And then 0.
Alright.
Alright, since we've got a nice big runway, our board procedures, we'll just go around at the threshold if we need to. And increase power, flaps 20 for 73, and then set max torque and temp. And we'd be watching torque, especially since we're down at sea level. Okay, we still have 6 minutes to go. I'll wait for the rest of the checklist until I get a little bit closer.
All right. How are you on your descent?
I'm just gonna go look. Not very good.
One easy way is just look at those boxes because they come down at an angle anyways. So if you're way above those boxes, just look at that as like an ILS. You're going to be way above it already. But if you're going through the boxes, then you're right on it.
Okay. 127.1. Kodiak November Tango Kilo is 6 miles to the north. To overfly midfield, joining left downwind, landing runway 30, Hoskins. Alright, we're landing 67, so downwind. Our base will be 77 and downwind 87.
Sounds good.
Be 1,000 on downwind. Turning base at 700, turning final at 500. All right?
Yeah. Moresby 1271, November Tango Kilo, in the circuit Hoskins, cancel SAR. Thank you, November Tango Kilo. All stations Hoskins, November Tango Kilo overhead. Be joining into a left downwind runway 30 Hoskins. Alright, just looks like Alpha Tango Echo is the only airplane down there.
Okay, runway looks clear to me.
Yep, looks good down here, and windsock's just kind of hanging a limp, it looks like. Be 1 or 2 knots favoring runway 30. If you get your 10 degrees in on your downwind, so that when you're abeam the numbers, you go 20 degrees.
There's traffic up to 15 miles right of route.
He said 1.6 usually?
Yeah, usually around 1.6. Unless you need to make adjustments if you're any other reason why you need to. All stations Hoskins, November Tango Kilo, turning final 30 Hoskins.
List is complete.
500.
Where do you want to land, just so I have a kind of a reference as far as like what your aiming point, and so I can...
I'll aim at the numbers, so
okay.
I can maybe hit the end of the first line or second line potentially.
Okay. We're a little flat. If you like look at here, we got 450. We're looking for 550. Then when you're rolling out, go ahead and bring this to low idle. That way when you're down at the other end and you're trying to stop, we can pull off on this one here because we're not getting fuel, so we don't need to... At this taxiway right here where these yellow cones are. If you get in the habit of just putting this back, I think we've talked about it before, it will help you in case you're on a slippery runway and you get down to the end and you think you're going to slow down and your high idle's just pulling you along. Guys, thanks for joining along on that flight with Brad and I. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys want to fly this exact same flight in your home sim, I'll leave a link down below. It's one of my Patreon posts, but it's just open for anybody to try it out, just to give you guys an idea. I've got probably 50 or 60 flights. Some places that we go to that you can actually, like a patch, you can actually add into flight sim. So anyways, thanks. Give it a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy this video, and see you guys next time. Off, and then go ahead and shut down, and then just have your hand up there ready to go.
Alpha November Victor, just take its details only for Alpha Mike Hotel.
Right, and then once it gets below 15, then you can flip it off, just because it's not running anymore, it's just any fuel.